Welcome, children. So, today we'll be starting our third organ of the government, judiciary. As we have already discussed, there are three main organs of the government: executive, legislature, and judiciary. So, today we'll be discussing about the judiciary. Basically, what is the function of the judiciary? It checks the rules and regulation whether it is being followed properly. It settles the disputes between the state and center, between two states, between two human beings, and it safeguards the rights of individual, whether is given the proper fundamental rights, nobody's rights are being violated, everybody is enjoying their rights, and it check the possibilities of despotism as well. So now there is an independence of judiciary. Why we need the independent judiciary? Why there should not be any interference in the judiciary? Why this should be an independent body? So we'll be discussing in this the legislature and executive, which we have already discussed in our previous chapters. Legislature is a lawmaking body which consists of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and executive is the body which implements the law, where all the president, PM, CM, and all council of ministers, cabinet of ministers, they are covered in that. They execute, but they judiciary is sure to be independent body. So the legislature and executive, they should not interfere with the decisions of the judiciary. Whatever the decisions are given, those decisions should be independent. And the judges, they should be able to perform their functions independently. Nobody should intervene in their work. So in which way the independence of judiciary is protected? See, the first of all, the legislature is not at all involved in the appointment of the judges. Appointment of the judges are done in a different manner, and the judges have a fixed tenure. They'll be there till the age of their retirement. So judiciary is not finally dependent on executive and legislative, because it is a separate part. It is an independent body. It checks everything, whether all the rules and regulations are implemented properly, whether everything is going on properly, and the action and decision of the judges are immune from the personal criticism. This is not a party. This judiciary is not under of any party. So then now we'll be discussing about the removal of judges. How the removal of the judges can be done? See, the Supreme Court and High Court judges can be removed only on the ground of if they are misbehaving, they are not doing their duty effectively, if they are violating the laws, if they are not following the constitution. So then a motion must be approved by the special majority in both the houses of the parliament. Then only judges can be improved, but this is very rarely happens when these things are there. So this is what the removal of the judges. So now appointment of the judges. How the appointment of the judges is done? Basically, it usually the senior most judge of the Supreme Court become the Chief Justice of India, and other judges of Supreme Court and High Court are appointed by the President of India after consulting the Chief Justice of India. So Chief Justice of India recommends the name after consulting with the four senior most judges of the Supreme Court. Then only it is there. So Council of Ministers also play an vital role in the appointments. So now what is the structure of the judiciary? See, basically let us start from the lower level. So lower level, it starts from the base. It starts from the root level, where we consider all the civil and criminal nature. So then from the subordinate courts the case goes to, if any thing happens, first of all the person has to go to police and get the FIR. Then the police will investigate the matter. If it is a criminal matter, civil case directly go to the subordinate court, and later on it goes to the district court. So district court it deals with the cases arising in the district, whatever happens in the district. So it considered the appeals from the district given by the lower courts as well, and it decides the cases involving serious criminal offense. Then after that the case goes to the high court. High court, what happened, what is the function of the high court? High court also can hear appeal from the lower courts. If the person is not satisfied with the district courts, they can go to the higher courts. Then it can issue writs for restoring fundamental rights as well. Then it deals with the cases from one state to another state as well. So, and then it exercises superintendent controls over below it. Then we go to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court's whatever decision is there, it is binding for everyone. That is the Supreme Court. This is the final for everyone. So they can transfer judges from the high court. They can move cases from any court. They can transfer cases from high court to another court as well. So this is the structure which we have discussed till now. This is the structure of the judiciary. So now what is the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court? The first jurisdiction, here it is the original jurisdiction. So what happens in the original jurisdictions? The cases that can be directly considered by the Supreme Courts. Then what's come under this? The disputes between, if there is any dispute between the state and the central government, then the government or among the states, if there is any problem between one state to another state. Then what is appellate jurisdiction? Here it is, the Supreme Court is the highest appeal. The person can appeal to the Supreme Court against the decision of the High Court. If we feel anything is the person is not satisfied with the decision of the lower court, the person can go to the Supreme Court as well. Then there are different type of writs. The Supreme Court has the power to issue special orders in the form of writs to restore fundamental rights. Now what are all the writs? Habeas corpus, already we discussed, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari and quo warranto. In the fundamental rights which we have already discussed, the person can go to the Supreme Court has the power to issue special notice to them. Then the advisory jurisdiction. So now what happened in the advisory jurisdiction? The President of India, if there is any problem, he can seek the legal opinion from the Supreme Court on the matter of public importance, like whatever the President of India, he can get the suggestions from the Supreme Court. But yes, Supreme Court is not bound to give any advice, and President is not bound to accept such an advice. It is both the side, vice versa as well. So now what is judicial activism? Basically judicial activism, it is there in India mainly through the public interest litigation or social action. Normal case, if the person approached to the court only in the personal aggrieved cases, but in 1979 the Supreme Court decided to hear a case filed by a third party. If the people, if they feel yes, whatever is going on, it is not going on properly. So then the public spirit citizen and voluntary organizations, they can also file the case to protect the public interest, betterment of life condition of poor, protection of government, etc. So then The judiciary also started to consider merely on the basis on the newspaper reports and postal complaints. Now what all comes under like domestic violence, child this thing maltreatment, girl child, elders abuse, animal abuse. Like these days the main issue, one of the pregnant elephant got died. So these are all the cases. Now what is the relevance of judicial activism? क्यों चाहिए हमें judicial? Because judiciary has expanded the idea of rights, clean air, unpolluted water, decent living, etc. These are all the things which are all rights, which everybody needs it and which is to be there. So this is the through the public interest litigation, the people they are aware of it. So this is the first relevance. Then the judiciary is approachable to the poor section of the Indian society as well. Public spirited citizens, social organizations file case on behalf of the needy and deprived. Then it has forced executive accountability. Means with this everybody is accountable. The people, those who are in the prime ministers, president, whatever they are doing, the people they are having check on it. And what if where they see things they are going on in a right manner. So then it also attempt to make electoral systems much more free and fair. So then what is the negative side? Everything has a pros and cons. Now we have discussed all the plus point of positive of the judicial activism. Now what are all the negative sides of judicial activism? It overburdened the courts because everybody is aware, everybody is having all the rights they can do. Then it had blurred the distinction between the executive and legislative on the one hand and judiciary on the other hand. Means the confusions are created. Now there are two ways which Supreme Court can remedy the violation. It can restore rights. The Supreme Court, as it's a guardian of the fundamental rights, it protects all the fundamental rights, a protector of the fundamental rights. So Supreme Court is the court which can declare a law unconstitutional, interpreter of the constitutional. Then judicial review. So Supreme Court has the power to examine the constitutionality of any law. If such a law is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution, the court can declare the law is unconstitutional. Means everything can be reviewed based on the Constitution, based on the term and conditions. It is the final judicial review is from the Supreme Court. So now what is judiciary relationship between judiciary and parliament? See, the court gives direction to the CBI to initiate, to investigate all the matter. What is CBI? The Central Bureau of Investigation, about the politician and the bureaucrats, and it delegates the principles of the there are limited separation of power in Indian Constitution, which leads to conflict between judiciary and the other organ of the government. So this is all about the judiciary. Basically this is an independent body. It is working independently. It can give instruction to any of the court. The person can go from lower courts to Supreme Court. It settles the dispute between the two or more states. It settles the dispute between the center and state. It can give the notice to everyone. There are different types of writs which can be done in this, and this body is totally independent body. This body can give advice to the president of the country, and the president also seek advice in a legal manner, but both the sides it is not mandatory as well. This is all about the judiciary. Thank you.